Right now, somewhere in your pocket, a device is waiting to make sure you never feel bored again. You reach for it in elevators, in waiting rooms. In the 3 seconds it takes a page to load, you treat boredom like a glitch, an error message your brain throws when nothing interesting is happening. But the real answer is far stranger. Boredom is not a glitch, it is a feature. Your brain built it on purpose, refined it over millions of years, and installed it deep in your nervous system for one reason. It is trying to save your life. Think about what boredom actually feels like. It is not calm. It is not rest. It is an itch, a restlessness, a quiet alarm going off somewhere behind your eyes, telling you that something is wrong with what you are doing right now. That is not an accident. That is a signal. Psychologist John Eastwood at York University has spent years studying this feeling, and he defines boredom in a way that might surprise you. Boredom, he says, is the unfulfilled desire for satisfying activity. Read that again. It is a desire, a hunger. Your brain is not shutting down when you are bored. It is demanding something. Just like hunger pushes you toward food and thirst pushes you toward water, boredom pushes you toward meaning. It is your brain telling you that your current situation is a dead end and that your time, your attention, your one limited life is being wasted. Why would evolution build such an uncomfortable alarm? Picture your ancestors 200,000 years ago. A small band of humans finds a valley with fruit trees and a clean stream. Life is good, but the fruit will not last forever. The animals will move on. The humans who felt perfectly content sitting in that valley, doing the same thing every day, stayed until the resources ran out. The ones who felt a strange, nagging restlessness, an urge to see what was over the next ridge, went exploring. They found new food sources, new territory, new solutions. Boredom, in other words, may be the emotion that pushed your species across the entire planet. The itch you feel in a waiting room is the same itch that walked humanity out of Africa. But here is where it gets stranger. Boredom does not just push you outward, it pushes you inward. In 2014, psychologist Timothy Wilson at the University of Virginia ran an experiment that has become famous for what it revealed about you. He asked people to sit alone in a plain room for 15 minutes with nothing to do. No phone, no book, just their own thoughts. There was one twist. If they wanted, they could press a button and give themselves a painful electric shock, something to break the monotony. 67% of the men and 25% of the women shocked themselves, on purpose, some of them multiple times. One participant pressed the button 190 times. These were ordinary people who, minutes earlier, had said they would pay money to avoid being shocked. Faced with nothing but their own minds, they chose pain instead. What does that tell you? It tells you that sitting with your own thoughts is genuinely hard. But it also raises a question. If boredom is so unbearable, what happens when you actually endure it? What is your brain doing in those empty moments? The answer came from an accidental discovery. In the 1990s, neuroscientist Marcus Reichel was scanning people's brains between tasks. During the boring gaps, when subjects were told to simply lie still and do nothing, he expected the brain to power down. It did the opposite. A vast network of regions lit up, burning nearly as much energy as focused work. Rachel called it the default mode network. It is the machinery your brain switches on when the outside world goes quiet. And what does it do? It replays your past. It simulates your future. It imagines conversations that have not happened yet. It connects memories that have nothing to do with each other, and sometimes in that collision it produces something new, an idea, an insight, a solution to a problem you were not even consciously working on. This is why your best ideas arrive in the shower, not at your desk, not while scrolling. In the shower, where there is nothing to do and nowhere to look. Psychologist Sandy Mann at the University of Central Lancashire tested this directly. She gave people a deliberately mind-numbing task, copying numbers out of a phone book, and then asked them to invent creative uses for a pair of plastic cups. The board group came up with significantly more creative ideas than people who skipped the boring task. In a follow-up, she made the task even duller, just reading the phone book aloud, and creativity climbed higher still. The more bored the mind, the further it wandered. And the further it wandered, the more original the ideas it brought back. So boredom is a compass pointing you toward meaning and a doorway into your own creativity. But your brain designed it with one assumption: that when the alarm went off, you would have to actually sit in the discomfort for a while before anything changed. For most of human history, that was guaranteed. The bored shepherd watched clouds. The bored farmer let her mind drift down the rows. There was no escape hatch. Now there is. It lives in your pocket. Every time boredom flickers on, you silence it in under 2 seconds. The alarm rings, and you smother it with a feed. Neuroscientist James Dankert at the University of Waterloo, who studies the bored brain, points out the trap hiding inside this habit. The phone relieves the feeling of boredom without ever answering its demand. Remember, boredom is a hunger for satisfying activity. Scrolling is not satisfying, it is snacking. So the hunger comes back, faster and sharper each time. Studies of heavy phone users show exactly this pattern. The more you use the phone to kill boredom, the more easily bored you become. You are not curing the itch. You are training your brain to have a lower and lower threshold for it. And there is a quieter cost. Every empty moment you fill is a moment the default mode network never gets. The daydream that never happens. The memory that never gets replayed and understood. The idea that never collides into existence. You are not just killing time. You are killing the workshop where your mind builds itself. None of this means boredom is pleasant. It is not supposed to be. Alarms are not supposed to be pleasant. But the next time that restless itch arrives, in a line, in an elevator, in a silence, you have a choice. You can smother the alarm, or you can listen to it. Let your eyes drift. Let your mind off the leash. Somewhere in that uncomfortable emptiness, your brain is doing exactly what 200,000 years of evolution built it to do. It is searching for what matters. Right now, somewhere in your pocket, a device is waiting to make sure you never feel bored again. Maybe the bravest thing you can do today is leave it there.